Recollection Road and LEGACYBOX are teaming up for a massive giveaway, absolutely free. You can win a 40-item LEGACYBOX kit, a 1,000-item photo LEGACYBOX, and a $250 Visa gift card. So watch until the end of this video, or scan this QR code now. During the 1970s, kitchens were brightened up with loud floral patterns. Rather than just painting the walls a solid color, kitchens were usually wallpapered, which added an abundance of these colorful flowers to the walls. New wallpaper was an easy way to dress up any kitchen, and it was offered in thousands of colors and patterns, which made it feel like a custom addition to your kitchen. The floral wallpaper fad would last through the end of the 70s, and as taste changed, the floral wall covering became seen as a tacky, dated look. There was no other kitchen flooring in the 1970s that was more ubiquitous than patterned linoleum. This flooring was beloved by working moms because it was tough and very easy to clean. Floor manufacturers even marketed these floors as not needing routine waxing, which saved you the hassle. The designs were also anything but plain. Linoleum was available in a wide variety of crazy patterns and color schemes that matched the interior design trends of the 70s perfectly. Once consigned to just patios and porches, rattan furniture became a hot addition to kitchens in the 1970s. Dining and breakfast bar chairs everywhere began to be swapped out with the more casual and natural-looking rattan or wicker options as the decade progressed. The natural furniture or even decorative baskets added a layer of texture to the 1970s kitchens, which makes sense because it went great with the macrame wall decor that started showing up on walls across the country. How many of you remember the interior shutters that were used to close up the kitchen pass-through? Sometimes there was a breakfast bar counter there, but other times it was just a window to the living room or dining room that could be opened or closed for privacy. The shutters gave you options, and at the time, people just weren't sure if they wanted a more open concept. So these louvered dividers seem to have solved the problem. It may have been the patriotic feeling people were having with the upcoming bicentennial, or maybe just great timing. But colonial accents in the kitchen came back with a vengeance in the 1970s. Not only did you see more ornate wood-turned furniture, but you would also commonly see symbols of America adorning cabinets and walls, just like this metal bald eagle found on the overhead vent. During the 1970s, vinyl tablecloths were proudly spread over kitchen tables everywhere. These convenient table toppers were very easy to clean just by wiping up the mess, and they didn't require a wash every time Kool-Aid was spilled on them. They also came in a variety of designs that matched anyone's kitchen taste. They were basically the linoleum flooring for your kitchen table. A party just wasn't a party without a hot pot of cheese for dipping. Having a fondue set with the little forks made eating more fun, and I can't imagine a 1970s get-together without one of these fondue sets. Whether you were dedicating an entire meal to dipping bread and veggies, or you just wanted it for an appetizer, fondue made a huge mark on the 1970s kitchen. Another kitchen gadget that became big in the 1970s was the crock pot. As women were entering the workforce in huge numbers, the crock pot was marketed directly to them and their families. The popularity of the handy slow cooker soared, and sales rose to $93 million by 1975. The virtues of the crock pot are still going strong today, but the 1970s made it the easiest way to make dinner. Not to mention, it would be ready just as you were coming home from work. In the 1970s, using a standard knife was ancient history. Moms and dads now just needed to squeeze a trigger and let technology do the cutting. The electric knife just made cutting easier. They weren't, however, the most sturdy or even sharpest knives on the market, but at least you didn't have to spend time sawing through that dry turkey on Thanksgiving. Illustrated designs, especially of fruits and vegetables, were common on kitchenware in the 1970s. Among the most popular were mushrooms, which showed up on everything well into the late 70s. The painted and sometimes embossed designs could be found on cookware, canister sets, trivets, kitchen towels, and even clocks. For some, the mushroom trend was such a craze that entire kitchens got a mushroom overhaul during this decade. The natural theme that decorated the floral walls and mushroom-accented countertops of kitchens in the 70s was capped off with the addition of live houseplants. Plants like pothos, spider plants, and ferns would drape down and complement the natural wood finishes of your kitchen. With the very first Earth Day being held in 1970, people seemed to be inspired to bring the outdoors inside, and kitchens benefited greatly from this trend. Kitchens in the 1980s were becoming the place everyone wanted to be. The footprint of the kitchen was growing to include a built-in banquet, or even a desk for that new computer. And it was made to match the cabinets in honey oak. Kitchen countertops were commonly covered with laminate or tile, and drop ceilings with fluorescent lighting were how you lit your kitchen. White or almond appliances were the colors to have, and walls were usually painted a neutral color. The 1980s also saw wallpaper shrink in size to be just a border that ran along the ceiling to complement the look of the kitchen. To add a layer of bling to any 1980s kitchen, highly polished brass was used for pretty much all the hardware. Pull handles, knobs, and hinges all had a gold-like shimmer, and even the chandelier hanging over the table most likely had arms of polished brass. Under the kitchen countertops, more and more homes could be found with a modern dishwasher. Still, owning a dishwasher came with a hefty price tag in the 1980s, but if you were well-to-do and didn't want to wash up after a family meal, then a dishwasher was a must-have appliance. A dishwasher cycle would often take over 3 hours to complete, so you'd be waiting a while to use the dishes again. Another modern appliance that began showing up more and more was a trash compactor. Some of these appliances claimed to squeeze a week's worth of trash into one small load, but that was rarely the case. It did, however, make you feel like you were contributing a little less to the trash problem of the 1980s. This was a time when consumers were devouring everything in convenient packages, and recycling hadn't quite caught on. Mr. Coffee, the first automatic drip coffee maker for the home, first emerged in the 1970s, but they rapidly grew in popularity, and in the 1980s, they were found in many homes. It featured a modular design with a high-gloss finish, plus it had a patented system for brewing the perfect cup of coffee. Mr. Coffee controlled the water flow and brewed at a slightly lower temperature in order to make the coffee taste better. So it's no wonder it became the best-selling coffee maker in America and dominated the coffee market in the 1980s. The name Cuisinart became synonymous with the food processor. It pulsed and blended and was a workhorse in the kitchen of 1980s homes. Initially, this aspirational appliance was only available at high-end retailers, and the price reflected it. But homemakers everywhere wanted to get their hands on this new device because they had become essential in the kitchens of well-known TV chefs like Julia Child. Novelty drinking glass sets have been used as promotional items for a long time. Many fast food restaurants throughout the 1980s used these collectibles to lure customers into their establishment, and it worked. Burger King had The Empire Strikes Back, Pizza Hut had E.T., and Hardee's had the Smurfs. And it's safe to say that many of us had a variety of these novelty glasses in our kitchen cupboard. The 1980s was filled with infomercials that sold all kinds of kitchen gadgets, but the Ginsu knife was one that stuck. This knife could not only slice through a tin can, but it then could easily slice a tomato, so families snapped them up by the millions. Between 1978 and 1984 alone, nearly 3 million knives were sold on TV. These knives were tough and affordable, so they became one of the most successful as-seen-on-TV products of the 80s. In the early 1980s, movie night with your brand new VHS or Betamax just wouldn't have been the same without some fresh, hot popcorn. The Presto Popcorn Now Air Popper was the easiest way to make popcorn, and it tasted even better with an expensive VHS tape of the latest movie. This was a time before renting movies became more mainstream, and the microwave became an even easier way to cook popcorn. If you didn't own a classic oak kitchen table, then you probably had a more modern glass-topped table. These sleek dining tables were showing up in homes across the country during the 1980s. The glass tabletops may have even been accented in brass, and many of them even had a chunky base that looked like it weighed a ton. Finally, the 1980s saw vertical blinds hanging on just about every window and sliding door in your kitchen. These shades were very popular because of their ability to control the light in a room, and they matched the 80s aesthetic perfectly. The vertical blinds found in the 1980s were made of a variety of materials, including metal, vinyl, and PVC, which gave you options as you shop for window coverings. Recollection Road and LEGACYBOX both believe it's important to keep memories alive, and we want you to experience just how simple it can be with a massive giveaway. Win a 40-item LEGACYBOX kit, a 1,000 photos LEGACYBOX, and a $250 Visa gift card. That's an $1,800 value. Now is your chance to bring your memories back to life for free. LEGACYBOX makes it simple, safe, and stress-free to digitize those treasured moments. Over 1 million people trust LEGACYBOX to preserve their home movies and photos, and all the work is done right here in the USA. To enter, just scan this QR code or click the link in the description. But hurry, this giveaway won't last long, so don't wait. Good luck, and as always, thank you so much for watching Recollection Road. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and make sure to check the description of this video for links to pick up a t-shirt and sign up for the newsletter. Thank you to our loyal Patreon supporters listed here. Visit patreon.com/recollectionroad to join the club.